Welcome in, Falcons fans, to Falcons Today by Chat Sports. I'm your new full-time host for the 2025 season. My name is Trace Moustakis, but please call me Moose. The reason I'm coming to you on my day off, the Falcons are planning to make a signing, which practically means they are going to sign him. I mean, that's exactly what it means. CJ Henderson is planning to sign with the Falcons, the former Jaguars first-round pick, number 9 overall. So this was a highly touted prospect to actually replace and supplant Jalen Ramsey after he left Jacksonville. So there was a lot of hype around this guy. Unfortunately for him, injuries and just kind of a lack of not expectations, but meeting expectations for where he was drafted caused him to only play about 10 games with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Since then, he's bounced around. He played with the Panthers for a while. Last year was signed by the Houston Texans. He got cut then and spent most recently the 2024 season, majority of it, with the Pittsburgh Steelers on their practice squad. So there is some talent there, but this to me is obviously a direct response to the Kobe Bryant injury. And obviously Kobe Bryant, the UDFA out of Kansas, injured his hamstring 2 days ago at joint practice with the Titans. So to me, this is a signing that signifies, somebody that is just going to end up getting reps during the preseason, somebody that could be a training camp and practice squad body. I don't foresee him making the 53-man roster. I just don't think that, given his reputation and what he has done recently, both with the Texans and the Steelers, that he would be talented enough and make enough plays to end up making the 53. There's a slim chance, because you never want to say never, right, that if he plays well enough, he could be a special teams player. But I really don't see that happening. But nonetheless, the Falcons are going to be making a signing. CJ Henderson, former first-round pick number 9 in the 2020 draft for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I want to take the rest of the time in this video to kind of preview what we're looking forward to here in the Falcons versus Titans, because you can only spend so much time talking about a practice squad signing player. As highly touted as this guy was, there's really not much to say. He's not very good. And injuries have definitely caused him to regress in talent as well. So let's start with the offense. I'm going to highlight some offensive things that I want to look forward to in this next preseason game, and then also talk about defensively what I'm expecting against the Titans, because there are some key takeaways, especially from the last couple of days during joint practice, that I think need to be addressed. Before we do that, make sure that if you haven't already, join the party over here at Falcons Today. I did get the go-ahead from my bosses that, yes, I am now your full-time host, and I could not be more excited about Falcons football. So if you haven't joined the channel already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and also throw a like on today's video if you love everything surrounding the Falcons 365 days a year. By the way, it's free. So let's start with the offense. Based off of what was reported and what kind of I saw, knocked over the mic there, from Michael Penix, he started off the first day really hot. 13 of 16 against the Titans' first and second stringers, and 6 out of those 13 passes were for more than 10 yards. So, and then a couple other reports that Casey Washington, Drake London were getting bombs from Penix. So stretching the ball down the field seems to be a priority, at least right now at this juncture, for the Falcons offense. And I think Penix has a whip, right? I think he can absolutely sling that ball downfield. I also think he throws a beautiful football. He's not going to really play in the preseason. At least that's what I took from it. Kind of said that his job was to be ready for week 1 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't have a problem with it, but I do want to at least note that if you're going to have that confidence, and you as a coaching staff, Raheem Morris, have that confidence in Penix, he better start off hot, because every game matters in the NFL, every single one. You can't afford to start off like the Cincinnati Bengals do every single year and go 0-4 or 1-3 in September, and then finally pick it up. It's too big of a deficit to overcome. The run game I want to address, obviously you're not going to see any of Bijan Robinson or Terell Jr. Totally fine, so I'm not worried about the run game. I think the Falcons have a very, very good running back duo between the two of them, kind of a thunder-lightning combo. But the third and fourth stringers, Nathan Carter specifically, who had probably the best game out of any of the Falcons running backs in week 1 against the Lions, I want to see a little bit more from the run game, and that also starts with the offensive line. I feel like the Falcons' second and third string offensive linemen just didn't do what they were supposed to do. Jack Nelson in particular didn't have that great of a game, 7th-round pick out of Wisconsin. So having more of a wide zone scheme running system where you can try to bounce out to the outside a little bit more and make more things happen out in the flat rather than just trying to north to south punch your way through the A and the B gap is something that I would like to see a little bit more because let's be honest, there's no real threat right now at quarterback considering Easton Stick and Emory Jones are your quarterbacks. So defenses are just going to stack the box and basically say, we dare you. Like, you know what I mean? So I think looking to see a little bit more from the running backs in a wide zone scheme style of run, and that'll be up to Zach Robinson to make sure that he has a good game plan to go up against the Tennessee Titans defense that has a lot of holes. Their best player being Jeffrey Simmons, who gave the Falcons fits yesterday during joint practice. But outside of that, it's not really a defense to be concerned about. Wide receivers, I briefly want to touch on, the main one being Casey Washington. Raheem Morris has gushed about him not only throughout training camp, but all offseason and preseason. In fact, so much so that there is a wide growing belief that if Darnell Mooney is not ready to go week 1, Casey Washington is going to be on the other side of Drake London. So the second-round man of a second-year player out of Illinois who last year only had 1 reception, this could be his time to shine, this time to get into the sun. And when Darnell Mooney comes back, could Casey Washington find himself a role behind the likes of a guy like Ray McCloud? So I know Kaderil Hodge has that wide receiver 4 spot kind of, firmly in place at least right now. So maybe a wide receiver 5 position in a 5 wide package, Casey Washington could absolutely find himself later on throughout the season. But right now, all signs point towards, he's going to start if Darnell Mooney's not ready to go. He was taking all first team reps the last couple of days. So that's a really good sign right there as well. Defensively, there's a couple of things that I definitely want to touch on. Obviously, when they played the Detroit Lions, they came out swinging. DeMarco Hellams had one hell of a game, and I feel like that's going to be a name this year that you're going to hear a lot from because he lays the boomstick down, man. Oh, my God, I was just like, who and where did this guy come from? Now, I know last year, the injury kept him out for the entirety of the season, so Falcons fans didn't get the full scope of how talented of a player he is. So look for him to get back into the game. Specifically, though, in the secondary, before I get now onto the defensive line in just a second, I do want to touch on Billy Bowman for a second. I just want to pose a quick hypothetical for you. Imagine I told you, hey, we're going to draft a kid he's played safety last year. But he's so versatile, so athletic, so quick. We're going to move him to inside corner. And the only issue and concern we have right now about him is that we need to put a little bit more weight on him and have him work on his tackling ability in open field. I'm sure any fan in the NFL would look at that and go, please tell me more. I'm very interested in hearing this. Well, that's Billy Bowman. And right now, Dee Alford has that nickel corner spot locked up. But I know Falcons fans know this. That is not his job for the remainder of the season. If Billy Bowman can come out and start to show his skill set, keeping the game in front of him, not getting beat off the line of scrimmage, not getting busted on a pick play like Dee Alford did against the Lions, keeping the inside leverage, mirroring the routes that wide receivers run, and just keeping the game in front of him, you could absolutely see Billy Bowman take over that spot halfway through the season or maybe even earlier than that. So I'm really kind of interested in the narrative right now that Billy Bowman has a lot of hype and they're keeping a very, very close eye on him as well. Falcons safeties obviously being really, really good. Xavier Watts, Jordan Fuller, Jesse Bates, DeMarco Hellams. Any one of those guys is going to be a really, really big stud alongside Jesse Bates, because we know that's his spot right now. So Xavier Watts and Jordan Fuller right now definitely competing for that other starting safety position. Let's go to the defensive line really quick before we wrap up today's video. So I had said in a couple of episodes earlier this week that I wanted to see a better scheme from Raheem Morris for the rookies, Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. And I stand by that. And as I was going over the tape, there are a couple of packages that I believe Raheem Morris can use and utilize, especially in these next couple of preseason games, to absolutely throw defenses off. The first one being a ghost rush. So I'm going to throw a little bit of vernacular at you. You ready? Let's do it together. A ghost rush is essentially a speed rush technique for a guy with a lot of quickness and, hand speed off the line of scrimmage. It's not in a three-point stance, so maybe James Pierce Jr. is a better fit for this one. Essentially what you do as an edge rusher here is you kind of slip underneath the tackle's, initial hand jab up to kind of get between the shoulder pads. And once you do that, you kind of take this wide arcing angle. And that's why it's called the ghost rush, because essentially you're turning yourself into a ghost, at least by the quarterback standards, like you're giving up on the play, and then you make a sharp cut back towards the quarterback. What this is going to do is force, if it's done correctly, of course, if you get past that initial tackle, the guard then has to come up on a blindside block on a right-handed quarterback, leaving not only another defensive lineman available to attack the quarterback, but let's just say he doesn't pick you up. Then you have free range at the quarterback's backside. No diddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I look at this and I say, if you use that technique by switching Jalen Walker maybe into a three-point stance as an edge, maybe not a defensive tackle, but like put him in a three-point stance and have James Pierce Jr. on the outside, I think you're really, really onto something there. Sorry about this. My brightness just went all the way down. The second one that I want to at least mention is what is called a chop club technique, and this is more for Jalen Walker. It's a three-point stance where essentially you are ripping off the line of scrimmage, punching inside on that guard or tackle's inside shoulder. That's going to push him back. So strength is utilized in this one. DeForest Buckner does this better than anyone, in my opinion, in the entire NFL. Punch to the inside of that shoulder and then cut back towards the middle. So you have free range to now bull rush the quarterback inside the pocket. You're head on with it. So it's not necessarily an angled attack. It's more of a head on, face mask to face mask. And Jalen Walker, being as strong as he is, I feel like can utilize this. But this works if you put them right next to each other. Do you see what I'm saying? You can run this technique side by side. So Jalen Walker in a three-point stance, James Pierce Jr. on the outside. Combine the two of those, one of those guys is going to get after the quarterback. And if you can utilize both of them in this sort of package, maybe that's not the only way to do it, but this is just one example. I'm telling you, you could be looking at a new wave and a new era of Atlanta Falcons pass rushers, because both of these guys have the talent to be 10-plus sacks individuals. It's just going to be a matter of how are they used. That is going to do it for us on today's episode. I will be back, by the way, tomorrow for our watch party. So if you're going to join us, spam those ATLs down in the comment section. You know what else that's going to do? It's going to let me know that you stuck around for the entire video, which you got to be a real one if you're doing that, especially on a new guy here that, is kind of chirping at you. And you might be thinking, who the hell is this guy to talk to me? So if you spam ATL, not only do I know you're a real one, but I also know that you're going to pull up for tomorrow's game against the Tennessee Titans. That is going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder that if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like today's video, and as always, Falcons fans, rise up.